Okay, so nobody tells you the rope cuts into your shoulder like this.
3, 2, 1.
That right there, that's 2.5 tons. We just moved it the length of a car. We have allegedly 40 more of these today. I have been awake for 4 hours. I already regret everything. That behind me, that's it. That's the Great Pyramid. Except it isn't great yet. It's a job site. And I have just signed up to spend a full day on the single largest construction project in human history.
2500 BC, Giza.
And I want to be honest with you right now, before this goes any further, everything you think you know about how this got built is about to get very complicated. Backing up. It's before dawn and I'm walking into what is basically a purpose-built company town. Bakeries, breweries, dormitories, a hospital. Yes, a hospital, we'll get to that. All built specifically to run this site. This isn't a few guys with a hammer. This is logistics on an industrial scale. 4,500 years before the word logistics exists. This is check-in. They write down who's here, every name, every crew, every day, on actual records. And they hand you this. It's basically a punch card. You're attached to a crew, the crew has a name, and your food today depends on this little tag. Lose it, and you've got a problem. That's actually fine. Dense, kind of gritty. There's literally sand milled into this flour. I can feel it in my teeth, but it's fine. And the beer is breakfast. Thick, kind of porridgey, low alcohol. You drink this because the water here will make you very sick, and this somehow won't. Calories and hydration in one cup. Whoever figured that out was the real genius of Giza. And here's thing number one I did not expect. Listen to that. That's not despair. That's people walking to work with their friends. I came here braced for a death march. This looks more like a shift change, which is the first crack in everything I thought I understood about this place. Okay, the actual machine of this place. Over there, quarrying, cutting blocks straight out of the bedrock with copper tools and wooden wedges soaked in water to split the stone. Over here, dressing, smoothing the faces down by hand. And these guys, wetting the sand in front of the sledges. I genuinely didn't know this until right now. Wet sand cuts the friction dramatically. You can move these monsters with way fewer people than you'd think, as long as someone keeps soaking the ground in front of you. This foreman keeps the rhythm, keeps people together, and when we get it moving, he actually laughs. Like, that's the job. There's no whip here. There's no one standing over us with a weapon. There's a guy with a good count and decent jokes, and a team that wants to beat their time from yesterday. Okay, that felt incredible, not gonna lie. That ramp goes most of the way up the current height of the pyramid. Nobody actually agrees on the exact ramp system they used. Straight ramp, spiral ramp, internal ramp, some mix, but standing here, the point isn't the engineering diagram. Every single block I'm sweating over down here has to make that climb too. Mine is not even close to the hardest job on this site today. And it's not even all local stone. The fine white casing limestone is ferried across the Nile from quarries miles away. The granite for the burial chamber, that's coming 500 miles upriver from Massawa. This isn't a pile of rocks. This is a supply chain. Boats, canals, manifest, schedules. If you took away any one piece of this, the whole thing stops. I need a second. It is, I don't even know, it has to be close to 40 degrees out here. And there is no shade. Because we are the shade-making project. This is the part nobody puts in the documentary. It's not the cleverness, it's not the scale, it's just heat and rope and your hands hour after hour after hour. The deafening center of construction lies the quieter infrastructure that keeps the entire project functioning. Okay, I want to actually talk about this because it's the thing I came here half expecting to film and didn't. That's an infirmary on a construction site in 2500 BC. They found skeletons here with healed broken bones, set bones properly mended, and healed fractures that someone clearly treated and let rest. You do not bother healing a broken leg on somebody you consider disposable. You don't build them a clinic. And this is the part that actually rewired my brain today. These crews named themselves like a sports team, like a unit with pride, friends of the king.
Crews competing with each other, bragging on the walls about who's faster, who's stronger.
People do not carve jokes and bragging rights into the walls of a prison camp. They do it on a job they're, in some genuinely strange way, proud of. So let's just say the thing plainly, because I walked in here with the same image you probably have: whips, chains, slaves dying in the thousands, and it is not that. It was never that. The slave built the pyramid story is mostly Greek tourists 2,000 years later guessing, and one very famous Hollywood movie cementing it for everybody after that. What's actually here is rotating labor. Conscripted, yes, this isn't fully voluntary by our standards. There's an obligation involved, possibly to taxes or service owed to the state, but it's paid in food, housing, beer, and medical care, organized in shifts, and done largely by farmers during the Nile flood season when their fields are underwater anyway and there's no farming to do. This is the off-season job. This is, in a very real sense, a government works program. Tens of thousands of people, skilled stonemaces working year-round, and farmers rotating through during the flood months. Permanent crews living here with their families nearby. This wasn't built by people with nothing to lose. It was built by a nation that organized itself completely around one shared, almost absurd ambition. That might honestly be a more unsettling thought than slavery. Nobody made them want this. Okay, that's bad. The sled just split. Somebody move. And held. Held! Nobody was under it. That is apparently just a Tuesday out here. Things break, people react instantly, and the work just continues.
There is no OSHA. There is just 40 very alert men and the formater's voice.
I got mocked, by the way, for my rope technique. Apparently I pull like a heron, which, accurate, honestly. But this 5 minutes, sitting with people I've known for one shift, getting roasted in a language I don't speak.
Eating bread I helped earn. This is the part that doesn't make it into any textbook about the pyramids.
And this is the other skill nobody talks about. Hauling it here is brute force. Setting it, that's precision. They're getting these joints tight enough that you genuinely cannot slide a blade between two blocks. People spend years just learning this part. This isn't unskilled labor dragging rocks. Somewhere on this site right now is a master craftsman who is, in his own way, as essential as the architect.
We're losing the light.
Crews are packing it in, and I genuinely don't know how to describe today, except I have never worked this hard in my life for one shift.
And I have also never seen so many people choose, every single day, for years, to keep doing this anyway.
And this is checkout. Tag goes back, your day's recorded, and you get paid out. More bread, more beer, dried fish for tonight. This little tag is the whole system in miniature. It's proof you showed up. It's proof you're owed something. It is, in its own small clay way, the first paycheck I have ever genuinely had to bleed for. So here's where I land on it. This thing will stand for 4,600 years. It will be the tallest man-made structure on Earth for almost 4,000 of those years. And today it was just a job. Hard, hot, occasionally funny, occasionally genuinely dangerous, done by people who went home at the end of the day to crews they were proud of and food they'd earned. Nobody on this plateau today thinks building a miracle, they think they're building a Tuesday. I think that might be true of every miracle ever built. It only looks impossible from 4,000 years away. I'm keeping this. Not the gold, not a souvenir from a tomb, a punch card. Out of everything on this entire plateau, that's the thing that actually proves I was here and that I earned it. Okay, 2026, here I come, where I will be sleeping for approximately 14 hours. If you want to know where I'm going next, and it's a good one, hit subscribe. We've still got a lot of history left to sweat through.